for coming. You all provide a great service to our community for the people who live and work here, and we greatly appreciate each of you for that. We know as you work to provide these services, you may have the potential of coming in contact with power lines. As you may be hurrying to save and protect lives and clear roadways from hazards, it's easy to forget these energized lines may add another element of danger. So that's why we're here today to present this high voltage demonstration as a reminder of that danger. Speaking will be lineman Colton Felger, while lineman Michael Peterson and some of the other line crew, Lee, Chris, and Delmer, will be here to assist as long as we go along. So again, thank you for coming. We appreciate it, and I'll let Colton take it from here.
Yeah, so like Kevin said, we know obviously first responders, a lot of you highway guys, you guys help us out a lot when we have storms come through or car wrecks. We do a lot of work with the county. When we have trees come down our power lines, they have some nice equipment that we don't have when it comes to pushing trees off roadways, or we need to be there to take wires off the car wrecks. So we wanted to put this on for you guys, and I know probably most of you guys have been here once before, but it's always a good reminder to, before we get going 100 miles an hour and get ahead of ourselves, to realize what's out there and what could be laying underneath a pinned down tree, or what could be on top of a car wreck, or could be 1,000 scenarios, some that we see all the time, some you guys probably see all the time. So we're just going to go through a couple of scenarios and just show you guys what is out there and what could potentially harm or kill any one of us in our daily line of work. So like Kevin said, we have 8 guys, 8 linemen, and ground workers, and I think between all of us we have 190 years of experience. I've been here for 3 years. Chris has been here for 35, Terry's been here for 45, so have a lot of experience on our crew, but just like you guys, 7,200 volts doesn't care how much experience you have. You make one mistake, you could be going home in an ambulance that night. So Mike and I are giving a presentation today. We're both going through the apprenticeship program right now. It takes 4 years of schooling and 8,000 on-the-job hours to be a certified lineman. So our normal day at work, we try to learn from these guys who have been doing it a lot longer than us. And so we go down to Indianapolis and go to school every once in a while and try to bring back what we learn and try to help out our co-op and try to put in a long line of service. So we have a little mock setup of what kind of our power distribution system looks like. Obviously, we're using just our breaker panel as our substation where our power is going to come from. But this is what you guys are going to see along the roadsides. We have transformers that feed individuals' houses or barns. Just a single-phase system, one hot wire up top. Neutral is usually always at the bottom. We have some devices on the pole that help us turn the power on and off, and help us to isolate sections of line in case there'd be a car wreck and we'd have to shut the line off. We have these cutouts right here that are at the top, and all you have to do is just pull that open with some of our hot sticks, as we call them, and that shuts the line off quick so that first responders or county guys can push trees off the lines, and it's just an easy way for us to kill the power to lines that may be down or maybe have a trailer on them. Like I mentioned before, we have our transformers, which our secondary wire comes out of, and that'll go to residential houses or barns or businesses, and then all the wire up top is what we work on. So Mike, if you would, go ahead and we'll turn it on. I guess that's my button. You didn't put the breaker on, though. What's that? Shouldn't be. Right on somewhere. Okay. So, like I said, wire comes out of our substation, goes along the lines, hits a customer's transformer. And that's what you don't want to hear in the middle of the night. So, what just happened was line coming out of a substation, and you guys saw the customer's light was on. That could be a security light, doesn't matter what it is, could represent a house. And what Mike did was he created a short from our phase, carrying our power, down to our neutral, which is our return. So it's just like a fuse you have inside your house that shows that, you know, there's too much load, so it's going to blow to protect. So Mike used what we call a ground to, it's just a short jumper in between phases to help the circuit kick out faster. But that could be anywhere from a tree limb coming down and touching both the primary and the neutral. That could be a car wreck, knocks the pole over, and the wires slap together. So it's loud and it's scary, but it's actually a protective device for us, you guys, doesn't matter. If something goes wrong out there, we want that thing to blow, and that separates power so that anybody who could come in contact with that will not get energized and potentially hurt or killed. You'll see Mike has thick rubber sleeves on, hard hat, and thick rubber gloves on. Those are all safety devices we use every day. They are hotter than snot, but if something would happen to fall on him, touch him, they're rated to 20,000 volts. So, Lord willing, he's protected against anything that might touch him or harm him. So we came out, we restored your outage, all your guys' houses are back on, and farmer comes along the next day, opens his sprayer booms up, and he's too close to the phases, doesn't realize it. What's that? Does it go? So, okay. Do you guys see that yellow handle come down right there? So, it's the same scenario as we just talked about the cutout, but what's nice about the OCR is you have 3 opportunities to clear the line before the power kicks out. So I'm sure lots of you guys have had your lights during a storm, windy night, rainy night, doesn't matter, your lights will flicker on and off, and you'll think something's going on our end, we may be, out of power, what's going on. What that OCR is designed to do is, unlike the cutout, where it senses an overload and just kicks out and you're out of power, that OCR gives you, that OCR gives you 3 chances to clear the line. So even though your lights may be flickering on and off, it's actually a nice device for our end and your end as far as a short outage time. Whereas a squirrel gets up on a transformer, you guys can hear it go thump, thump, thump. You have 3 opportunities to where maybe that squirrel will get zapped and fall off the pole the first. Well, then your lights are still on, and instead of it just coming out and blowing that cutout, now we don't have to come out. You guys aren't out of power for a half hour, and it saves us time, and it just gives you guys 3 opportunities before that line officially kicks out. So that's another important reason for our tree trimming program. We actually try to really hit that hard, because if tree branches are 2-3 feet away and you think, okay, those don't need to be trimmed, or have plenty of distance away. Well, what happens in this winter when you get a bunch of snow on them, wind starts to blow, they start blowing into the lines, and then it starts coming in contact with your lines, and that's what's going to create our OCR to shut the power off, turn it back on, shut the power off, go back on. So there's a scenario where our power is shut off on our end, and for no foreseeable reason, we should be getting power to your guys' houses because the county guys are working on a tree that's down in the road, or we're working on some down power lines. But as you see, what Mike is doing is he's representing a tree branch that has maybe fallen off, or tree branches were too close to the lines to begin with, and where he's actually creating that path through our circuit to where you guys may think you're getting perfect power. Great, REMC did a good job, we're good to go. Well, the truth is that the tree that the county guys are working on has fallen down, and it is creating the path because it's wet, it has a bunch of residue on it, and the electricity is tracking through that tree and completing the path and showing that you guys have power. And what Mike's going to represent now is a kite string. You know, it could be anything, a fishing line. If you guys are on a bridge and you throw your fishing line out, power lines right along the bridge while you weren't paying attention, looking up, and you just casted your lure right into 7,200 volts, and now you would become part of that circuit, and you'd be having a pretty bad day. So, always important for, you know, highway workers, you know, first responders, us. You guys go home, you want to take your kids fishing, just pay attention. You know, if you guys have, we had a bunch of bad storms this year where county guys came out and did us a bunch of favors by pushing trees off the road. You know, if you guys beat us there, you have a faster response time. Just always want to be as aware as you can before you guys just start taking your big equipment or chainsaws and jumping in the brush and, you know, working, you know, doing a good job like you guys do. You know, look for lines that could be pinned down. You know, just survey the scene. You know, worst case scenario, you just wait. You know, we'd rather have people be out of, you know, Netflix for another hour than you guys go in there and jump in there and, oh, there's 7,200 volts at my feet, now I'm part of that circuit. So, and same thing for first responders. Car wrecks, you know, you guys always do a good job calling us. I remember, that might have been last fall this year, you guys had that car wreck right there by the jail, and NIPSCO couldn't be there at the time, so, you know, we all ran up there, and which we're thankful you guys called us, and, you know, that guy was strapped in the car, and so we could come in there and, you know, create the open point so we were 100% sure there was no electricity, could get you guys, you know, first responders, ambulance, the guy in the car. So that's a perfect example of, you know, you guys thinking ahead, calling us instead of just jumping in there thinking about the guy in the car. Because if 4 guys jump on the car with all the materials they need to heal this guy, you might have 5 dead instead of 1 because the car is at 7,000 volts. So another scenario we could have, I know we talked about farmers and putting equipment up. You know, they have combines pulling their auger out, sprayers pulling their booms out. We've had that quite a bit. And so I don't forget, you know, I think Ben called Mike today about a tree limb that could have been closed. You know, that's awesome. Perfect example. We would love to go out there and help you guys so we're just 100% sure nobody gets in anything. And, you know, that's what we're here for. That's why we have spend the money on protective gear. Our trucks are insulated. And something to think about is that Mike's going to demonstrate for us. Is that you guys could, we've had car wrecks before where, you know, if we can, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's negative 20 degrees, you know, we might go out, the poles just crack a little bit, and we're just saying, okay, no big deal, that thing will hold for a month if we can until we get back to it. But what we need to always pay attention to, and same for you guys, is what Mike just did was, you know, if you're looking at that thing, nothing looks bad at all. You know, there's nothing, no wires hanging down, the poles aren't cracked at the bases, but something that we've had a lot of, and lightning is not our friend, is that you have a lightning storm go through, and it could strike our polymer or epoxy insulators and creates a crack in there, moisture tracks through. We have a lot of porcelain insulators out there that, you know, just through time, age, I mean, they've been here for as long as Chris has, which is a really long time, that they can just crack, you know, deteriorate, and that wire that is resting on that, well, the electricity will start to track down through. So we could go out to a car wreck and not know about it after a rainy night, and, you know, we look up, hey, pole's still standing, everybody in the car's fine, first responders leave, everybody's good. Well, what you don't realize is that porcelain insulator, which is just like, you know, a faucet or a bathtub basically, is cracked and the line has fallen down on the arm and it looks perfect from the ground, but the reality is that as soon as these poles get wet, you know, there's chemicals in them, dirt, you know, you can name 1,000 things. That electricity will track down through the pole, and you could go up there after a long night of work and lean against the pole, and there's 7,200 volts. So a lot of instances where you don't think about, you know, I've had outages before, or car wrecks before, where, hey, the guy didn't track the pole, but then you look up in there and all 3 wires are in place, but the insulator is cracked, and now that wire is laying on the cross arm, and if it's a wet night, it tracks all the way down to the pole. Whoever's in the ground is susceptible. So another thing And like we'll show you with this hot dog, you know, the human body is 60% moisture. And so it doesn't matter what your situation is, you're a highway guy, you're on the ground with your great all pushing trees off, you're a first responder taking a guy out of a car. You know, this electricity will cook you faster than anything. And this is a perfect example of what can happen to your body should you come in contact with alcohol.
Anybody still hungry?
So that's an example of what could happen, guys. You know, it doesn't matter who we are, it doesn't matter if you're at work, you're going home for a relaxing night, you want to take your kid fishing, or you know your kid wants to climb a tree in the backyard. Just always be looking up, always be around, you know, for high power lines. You know, there could be the stupidest thing, you climb up in a tree branch and, you know, you didn't want your tree trimmed, so it's 5 inches away from the power line, your kid goes on a tree branch, comes in contact with high power lines, and all of a sudden his arm looks like a hot dog. So, you know, that's part of our duty is to trim trees back. Lots of people hate us for it, but at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to keep everybody away from 7,000 volts. So that's what we're going to do, and you know, we try to please our customers best we can, but at the end of the day, you know, we don't want that to happen to anybody. So, anything else you want to show them? If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us. All these guys are, you know, been doing it for a really long time, and like I said, just always be aware. You know, first responders, highway guys, you guys are great to work with, but in case you beat us out there on an emergency accident, you know, we want you guys to fall back on this and say, you know, I don't want to jump into that tree or touch that car until I know for sure that there's no energy there. So thanks for guys for coming out today, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
Something else real quick, we do want to, you touched on it a little bit, but with automobiles, obviously if power lines go down, we also do demonstrations in the elementary schools, and I'm not smart enough by any means or skilled enough to do this, but we have a little tabletop that we go out and talk to through the Sheriff's Department and other organizations do a safety day. We go out and talk, and one of the things we try to stress more than anything is about power lines that may fall on or near your vehicle. A lot of times, in this case, fourth graders don't know that, and especially a lot of their parents don't know that. So the best thing to do, kids are some of the best teachers. You know, you tell a kid, they're going to share a story and everything. So I explain to them the importance of if you ever encounter a power line on or near your vehicle, whether you're in the accident or somebody you want to help, always first and foremost stay in the vehicle. If for some reason you have to get out, you always tell them to get on the seat of the car, the hood of the car, wherever, and jump out and either hop away or scoot your feet away, far enough away, so then you can call 911. So if you stay in the vehicle, everybody has a cell phone anymore, call 911. It might be a while before somebody gets out there, especially if it's the middle of the night. By the time they get dispatched, come in here, get a vehicle, get to the scene. It's the best hour you may spend sitting in a car waiting, doing nothing. But that's the first choice. The second choice would be to, again, if your car's on fire, if it's a bad enough car accident, to get out. Don't touch the car into the ground at the same time. Hop out, get away, then call 911. Wait for the emergency personnel. In our case, the REMC or whoever's electric company is coming to respond to the outage. So again, start to hear more and more of parents you know of kids. You know you're getting through to them because you talk about electrical safety in a situation like this. They come up to you, the parents come up to you later and say, thanks a lot. Kid's driving me nuts, telling me all these things I shouldn't do and should do and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, great, it means we're getting through to them. So something else for adults to keep in mind when it comes to that especially.
Something I don't cover a lot, but I might have back here. Cole might have covered on it, but another thing I wanted to say was just because the lines are down doesn't mean they're dead. Our devices don't always work. I know we had a pole broke off a couple years ago. I think it was Steve. Hi, Steve. It was middle of winter, there was snow and ice on the ground, pole was down, and the lines stayed hot the whole time, just sat there. And they didn't need, I mean, you couldn't visibly see they were on, but our system didn't kick out. We had a couple of customers walk just underneath the lines, you know, very easily could have ran through the lines. So just because they're on the ground doesn't mean our device is always going to kick out. Another thing is too, we have to watch out especially a lot, and even if the lines are down and broke, completely separated, those transformers will put energy back on the line. If somebody turns a generator on, it'll backfeed and bump the voltage back up to an unknown voltage. But yeah, which is exactly what we're doing here. We're putting 110 and cranking it up to 7200 just by going through, reversing it through the transformer. So yeah, just biggest thing is stay clear until we show up, or pretty much that's it. Yeah. Delmer or Chris?
I do have another thing. Obviously, these guys go out in all elements of day and night, and snow, wind, rain, ice storm. Something else we like to try to tell people is not to hang things on poles. Like somebody's going to have a car for sale, or a lost puppy, or a garage sale or something. People like to put tacks and everything in the poles. And what happens eventually, the puppy's found, the car's sold, the garage sale's over, they either get blown down by the wind or ripped down. Sometimes these guys have to put on their hooks or gaffs on their feet and climb poles. If there's tacks all over the poles, it endangers them from being able to climb a pole. So we try to promote that as much as possible too, so that we don't endanger these guys who are out working in all kinds of weather and day and night and everything too. So, anybody have any more questions? Or any questions? Another thing we didn't touch on was Mylar balloons. How those can be pretty dangerous, and those are not a friendly thing for the electric company and linemen. Ironically, I know at Noble REMC about 3 years ago, they had one get into a substation and caused like 3,000 some people without power because they're a very good conductor of electricity. Ironically, it happened on Valentine's Day, and it was a heart-shaped balloon. So there were about 3,000 customers without power due to that. So.
I'd like to say special thanks to everyone that's here. County, especially here recently, we've had some pretty down situation. You guys' response time was really good. Folks come out and help us out, which makes it so much easier for us. Special thanks to you guys for spending one night helping us out. All the police force and stuff, what they do. Speed down the road sometimes. I know that's too bad, but special thanks to all you guys. That makes all this work together. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Some people don't like to ask questions in front of people. We're going to hang around here for a little while. If you want to go up and ask one-on-one questions, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, thanks again for coming. If you'd like another hammer and knockout thing, grab one on your way out. Vehicle escape tool, couldn't think of it. Help yourself to any of the brochures and everything on your way out. Thanks again for coming and enjoying lunch, and play it safe out there. Thank you.